everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working more on And Towards the Dawn. Some of you may be wondering, Notepad, why the fuck are you streaming at 11:30? Or 11:40 pretty much at this hour, yeah. Because I have an obligation to stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And that obligation is what drives me to do things. So that's the secret to huge success, everybody. Turns out if you just have blinding obligations toward doing something, you're compelled to do it. Yeah, that happens. So hi everyone. We're gonna be working on this. Probably not for a super long time, but that kind of comes with the territory, I guess. So, yeah. Get cozy. Get cozy and get thinking. Or don't. I don't really care what you do. It's you. A few changes from last time. Notably, I started on the very convoluted lore. Mostly explaining like these are vampires, these are kind of how they operate. These are humanity. It's hard, like, how do you explain humanity? It's like, yeah, humanity are humans. Like, cool, this is what we just are you human? Do you understand that? I meant to work on Denizens of the Ashlands, but then I got really caught up trying to make the AI magic machine work, which I still need to do some fine-tuning on it. I think I know how to make things work. It's just a lot of how do you communicate with the magic machine, and if you communicate with the magic machine correctly, then it'll work. And that's just a pain in the ass. As for what occurred, I did do some pretty major changes. One of them was characteristics. Characteristics went from 1 out of 10 to I changed it to 1 out of 5 actually. Pretty much relying solely on your characteristics is viable, but not really. You only have a maximum of 13. You have 13 points to begin with, and these aren't really going to change. So pretty much the idea with 13 points spread among 5 attributes, generally speaking, you're going to have a 3-3-3-2-2. That's going to be your kind of your baseline. You're going to have decent decent characteristics, but there is an encouragement for you to kind of like bump up an attribute or two. Like, oh hey, I want to do like a 5-3-3, so that would be 5-6-11-1-1. I want to do that. I want to do 5-3-3-1-1, which is like, yeah, you're really good at one thing, but you're kind of lacking in spheres. I think that there's a few build options here, but characters are still going to be pretty human in that regard. Time with the skill associated with it. Whenever a raw characteristic judgment is called, the drifters relying entirely on their natural ability rather than any kind. Yeah. I did end up changing the names. Well, hopefully the names come across a little bit better. These ended up being Avos, which is actually a Russian, kind of a poor Russian translation, but a Russian translation no less, which is kind of relying on luck or just kind of bullshitting it. Some people are simply luckier than others. Sometimes that luck goes both ways as well. Relying on Avos is relying on fate and the winds it rides. The attributes, the characteristics ended up becoming Avos, body, empathy, reason, and sense. I think they kind of fit a little bit better than the original physical, mental, social. I thought that it fit a little bit better, kind of giving things like empathy a little bit more room to work with, as well as reason, as well as sense. So it's not necessarily like, oh, you're smart. It's you're a reasonable person. Then we have our various skills. Now, Skills are going to be the thing out of 10. I did end up doing this. You have 30 points to distribute them, but you have during drifter creation, you can distribute a maximum of 7 points to any individuals. You have a maximum of 7, but you can go as you can raise to 10. Generally speaking, the main thing I had to think about with the skills. God damn it. The main thing I actually had to think about with the skills is them being able to use for everything over here, because every skill can be paired with any characteristic. Generally, some are going to kind of be a little bit more natural than others. Like acrobatics is going to be a little bit more consistently used with body, for example, but making an acrobatics check is you kind of making it like, oh, I'm gauging whether or not I can even make this. I'm making a you know, a kind of an understanding with it, while making like an acrobatics reason check is like, can he do this? Or an acrobatics avos check, which is just jumping and hoping for the best. So again, some of them do have a little bit consistently. These are a little bit familiar. I stole these. I took them a lot from Song of the White Carnations, which have a lot of overlapping themes and overlapping ideas, which in turn those skills were actually taken from another game entirely. The skill system, I could have tried to like differentiate things a little bit more, make it a little bit more unique, but I'm already kind of making a very specific game, so I'm like, I don't want to spend too long on this. Notepad using weird Russian word for no reason, count 1. Can't wait for the game to just turn into a straight up Anglo-Russian pigeon. It's not a random, weird Russian word. It's actually a very important one. By the way, since a buddy of mine isn't TRPG nerd, I probably won't find them, but he said he would hit up Nerd and Bookshops in Akihabara. What's your weird Japanese TTRPG so we can find them? Generally anything. I'm kind of down for anything he can find. That's my usual thing in that regard. Good job, Manly. You've watched 3 consecutive streams. You're making it. I thought about using more weird Russian words for things, but I decided against it. I'm such a gamer. Gaming. Oh yeah, we're gaming. But one of the odder ones that I did end up outright. I did end up outright changing things like marksmanship and fighting to just combat, which I wanted to reflect the idea that combat is not necessary. Combat is just a skill check at the end of the day. It's nothing like there's not a lot of nuance to it or anything like that. It's like you are in combat, you're going to be rolling the combat skill. You're going to be, but you don't want to be in combat. You don't want to be in that, that constant fighting. That's not really what you're aiming for. That's the idea being more that you're using combat to hurt another person because that's something you are skilled at doing. But if you're in a fight, you don't want to be in a fight. Why are you in a fight? Fighting sucks. Fighting burns resources for something you maybe don't need to burn a resource for. And if you do choose to go into a fight, what are you willing to risk? Are you willing to risk health? Are you willing to risk your ammunition, which you don't have a lot of? This isn't even factoring in things like healing, for example. But that's kind of the idea there. What do you mean? Yeah. Well, why is endurance on the left, but in the bit on the right it says athletics? Oh, I know it. Fun fact, I actually changed that word around. I couldn't think of like. The idea was like, oh, it's just the affinity for raw and natural strength and ability to manipulate it. Endurance was originally athletics. But athletics didn't quite fit, so endurance makes a little bit more sense. I didn't quite know how I wanted to word it yet. Again, I'm not great when it comes to these things sometimes. I was like dock workers because originally it was athletics in Song of the White Carnations, in which that was actually a major part, were dock workers and things like that. So I'm thinking like, what would be a post-apocalyptic occupation that would be tough people? So it's like like outside of being like everyone is a tough person at the end of the day. I guess I know what we can do. Um um Doctors have medicine, merchants have mercantile, stalkers have parareality, tech hunters have scavenger. Yeah, it's kind of the odd ones out are parareality and scavenger. Parareality is it's clearly your understanding of supernatural phenomenon, which is supernatural phenomenon is a part of the setting, and it's more along the idea that this shit is whack and you really shouldn't deal with it. Like, this shit is really inhuman, and this you like do not take it. Worldly might seem like everyone should have worldly. It's just the best skill because it's knowledge and detail of the world, knowing places and where they probably are. The issue with it is that it's not really going to be rolled unless you're starting a new zone. That's kind of the issue. It's not really like a super valuable skill, but it's very important to have, kind of thing. That's kind of the balancing factor in that regard. I think that would be esoterica. It's one of the big things with it is that they've been in setting, they believe that it's science, it's para-reality, it's something akin to reality, but we don't really know what it is. Esoterica, it kind of gives like, oh, this is completely unknowable bullshit. It's like, yeah, it's para-reality. You're not dealing with esoterics. No. You're a para-realitist. That's what pretty much you would go to school to become a para-realitist, which you want to prove things to actually give it purpose. Hey, there's the supernatural phenomenon. We want to actually make sure that it's real. The ultimate goal of every para-realitist would be make sure that it goes away. You want to become a real science when you grow up. That and it sounds weird. So that's another reason. So sticking with it, I might change it. Who knows? A lot of these things are as usual, kind of in flux when it comes to that. That room should do unpin hetero, just so we have this right here. Little bit of room here. What I'm going to do is actually put that side note. Yeah, let's see. With some obvious links. When a yeah. Actually, when a drifter is making a judgment, they will first propose the ideal, their desired way of approaching the situation. Their way of approaching the situation, and the narrator may counter or accept the request. Be interpretive with the skills and characteristic links. Making a, let's see what's good. making a empathy plus medicine, judgment. Judgment seems reasonable. Seems reasonable when the drifter is trying to keep a patient from losing their mind, from passing out. Pain just as much as a reason plus medicine, medicine to perform the procedure. Quickly. Generally speaking, the idea is that every characteristic can be paired with any skill. That's the goal. Is it perfect? No, as usual. There's some that are just like clearly kind of built for one another. Hey, I'm making an endurance check. You're making an endurance check, you're probably going to be rolling body. But making like an endurance empathy check, being like, yeah, no, I get what I get this. Like you're using your physicality to do something. Anyway, tangent, I'm glad my game jam submission is finally in. If I never have to see Sea Shanty again, it'll be too soon. Yes. 8 minutes. I should, when we have 5 minutes, I'll leave out the ping. Have no fear, everybody. Leave out the ping, everybody, and then I will close it. Let's see. Overall, we have a total, mind you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 whole games. Yes, 10 whole games for Jovian Sleigh Ride at this point. We've got 8 minutes. We were going to have more, but it does appear that I know Sang's computer died, so he wasn't able to finish it, unfortunately. We had a few other people say like, I can't do this, just timing got a little bit wonky on there. So that do be the way of the game. Right there. Ooh. There we go. But yeah, Game Jam was actually pretty fun. Hey, that's what these games are really for at the end of the day. Yeah, you say you would leave the channels open till Monday. Yeah, close it in the idea that nobody can submit anything anymore. No one will be able to submit. Let's see. We just have to add an image right there. Also, I've been experimenting more with the magic machine. Some turned out pretty well. Like this Nosferatu turned out pretty well. A little bit janky there, but I've been experimenting with some of the other models. Some of them turned out okay, some of them not so much. So that's been fun. But yeah, generally speaking, we're gonna be working on the damned and bloodied. The drifters will come in one of two forms. Vampires or humans. Both of the people have their own reason for traveling. Both of the people have their own reason for traveling and do not interfere. And being one of the two, will not affect their personal struggles or ideals. However, the reality of the matter is that vampires need blood, vampires. Fact of the matter is that vampires need blood. Are faster, stronger, and hardier than their human counterparts. However, their reliance on blood and aversion to the sun. Aversion to the sun makes the two sides easy compatriots in arms, compatriots on this long and winding journey. Let's see. When choosing which the drifter will be, there is a when choosing which the drifter will be, understand that actually, when choosing which the drifter will be, during this phase of drifter creation, they are, and deal with the consequences of such. I know who you are. Yo. Hardier is a word. This one, though I will admit the call to make literally impossible to earn money outside killing space whales wasn't a bit autistic on my part. It gives 50% economy management. When choosing which the drifter will be. Yeah, they have to shoulder the consequences. All dab and no play makes note a dull boy. It's just late. I did do a bunch of recording, luckily, so the video for tomorrow is recorded, fully recorded and good. Let's actually do this real fast. Okay, let's we got less than a minute to go. I have everything set up. Have no fear, everybody. We're all gonna make it. I'm looking at the clock right now. That's why I'm not moving. Up, there we go. They can view the channel. They cannot send messages. Mm. And it's Jover. Good job, everybody. Hopefully, we made it, everybody. Good job. Let's get a Jovani. It's Jovani and over. It's over. It never really began. Let's see. Treating Drifter will be. They will need to shoulder consequences it will create together. Drifter is human. Yes. The Drifter is the Drifter is one of countless souls in the Ashlands. One of countless souls in the Ashlands who have fresh blood. Who have fresh blood flow through their veins and hunger for the day. And hunger for the salvation of tomorrow. Being human is simple. To be human is to live a normal life to many. A simple diet, and a simple diet will keep them healthy and will keep them healthy and alive, but the desire for more will always push them forward. Will always push them forward. Humans can take many jobs of different types and situations. Being almost everywhere in the Ashlands, they are always accepted. Sometimes only as blood bags. Sometimes only blood bags. How the Union treats every human as a potential ally until traitorous intent is detected. Union treats human as potential ally until traitorous intent is detected, but the Tsardom does view humans as disposable cannon fodder, or a convenient snack for hungry nobles. Who's pinging me? Three species: human, vampire, the car. Well, of course, isn't that the three species of mankind? No, Pat, I always wanted to lock a channel down because I always want to make a hello. I always wonder how to lock a channel down because I always want to make a hello channel. You just right click on a channel, and then when you edit the channel, you can say, hey, when you go to permissions, you can actually set who is actually able to see things and who is not able to see things. For everyone except myself, I put it so no one could type in there, or at least they shouldn't be able to anyway. but they can still read and react, because I find that very important. Making shit posts is essential. If you don't shit post, what's the point? Let's see. Okay, so the interesting thing is humans. Being human. How do I want to do this correctly? Being human has a number of advantages and disadvantages. In the number of advantages, and actually has only a single advantage, but is outweighed by only a single. Actually, being has a few advantages and disadvantages. Depending on the viewpoint, depending on the situation, being human, depending on the situation. So go here. We are going to do this. We're going to table like the. Two plus 2 skill points to distribute anywhere they have 2 skill points to distribute anywhere they wish. Did you really think this journey was going to be that easy? So yeah, like that's one of the advantages of being human. You get a little bit extra skill points, and let's see. Humans require 1 unit of food every. Actually, okay. Humans require 1 unit of food every day. Let's see. Humans require require 1 unit of food every day. Food stuff. I'll use food stuff. Food stuff every day. Without it, they will grow. Without it, they will grow weak. They will grow eventually. They will grow weak. I don't quite know how I want to word that yet. Let's think. How do I want to word this? Actually, no. That's not. How do I want to word this correctly? Actually, no. Being human means that they are adaptable. If I can fucking spell. They are adaptable. meaning being human means they are adaptable. Granting actually no, granting the drifter, let's see, granting the drifter an additional 2 skill points to distribute as they wish. Adaptable game, guaranteeing the drifter additional 2 skill points to distribute as they wish. If a drifter's human means that they are adaptable. However, they still humans still need to eat, sleep, rest, and recuperate with the recuperate. However, they still need to eat, rest, and recuperate, requiring a full unit of foodstuff every day to avoid starvation. Starvation. Fuck. Do we write it in, or do we give it like a table? Like, this is, you just get a table of things, or like, this is like the things that you have to worry about. Shit. Half of me literally wants just to do bullet points. Like, you get +2 skill points. You have to deal with how you require this. I guess if we do to avoid starvation. I guess if we not delete the table, if we delete the row, standard hunger. Stuff with every day. Without it, they will grow weak. After 3 days of no food, they take 2 wounds. 2 wounds. Hungry. After a week of no food, they take 5 wounds. Actually, fuck. How do I want to word this? Also, would you click code? Would you say ticking, tacking, glue, or stickler would be better to use the full thickness of the paper press? Also, would you use something called decal? It's a clear acrylic coat you can get at the dollar store. I've never. I know. I think I know what you're talking about when it comes to the decal. Trying to go with the least obtrusive kind of glue, if I'm reading that correct. What am I looking? Let's see. Humans have common fears. They have a regular hunger. That's pretty much it with humans. Like, humans are not fascinating. That's the thing with them. They don't really. I mean, I guess we do. Mm. Our own personal, let's see, they must feel the horrors of the world as well as our own personal damage. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. Uh, the drifter is stressed. The drifter gains stress. Would it be lose stress or gain? I guess it would be lose. The drifter. Let's see. The drifter suffers stress when undergoing common fears. Oh, going over actually it'd be mundane. Let's see. Suffer stress when undergoing mundane fears. There we go. We just kind of do a quick understanding of like this is what's going on with you. This is how you deal with things. The thing with being human is that you are human and you don't have to deal with a lot of bullshit vampires have to deal with. That's like the main advantage of being human. You just don't have to deal with the bullshit. You don't have to deal with the fact that you need blood. You don't need to deal with the fact that you are like that you struggle to like feed yourself constantly. Like you don't have to worry about any of that. That's not something that ever really should be an issue to you anyway. Outside getting that kind of like the essentials. We do something like this. We can slap an image right there, pretty easy to look at. So we just do this to maintain vampires. The drifter is a vampire. One of countless souls in the Ashlands. If you can't really see, we're just like they're the same in the Ashlands. Ashlands who feast upon the blood of others to sustain themselves tomorrow. To be a vampire is to enjoy its benefits and drawbacks, forcing them to always push forward to survive or die alone. Vampires tend, depending on where the vampire. Where the vampire is their occupation. Their occupations and histories may vary dramatically. Union vampires are worked half to death to receive half of the rations they need. Worked half to death to receive half the rations they need. They need to survive an endless painful cycle of barely surviving. But among the Zardom, Vampires find themselves as either pseudo royalty, or another rank in their vast army of hopefuls. Being a vampire, sure. Invigorated by the blood, actually by the ichor that flows in their vein. But that same ichor will be their demise. But that same sanguine rush will be their demise if they are unable to quench their thirst. The extreme nature of vampirism leads them to abject despair as well as abject despair as well as overwhelming hope. Overwhelming hope should they leads them to abject despair as well as overwhelming hope. Neither being healthy for those around them. That was one of the bits with vampires I wanted to write in, is that they are very extreme. Ad time, baby. I'm hitting the ad button. Hell yeah. Woo! I love ads. Ads are the best. Bolden occupations receive half of the rations. Others, if they are able to quench their thirst. Requires one unit of blood, or three units of foodstuff daily to avoid starvation. Common fear, actually, you know what we can is actually no what we can do is we can remove you, but you also have to deal with vampiric fears. let's see, the sunlight, bright lights, bright lights. Yeah. Vampire has the stress factors of sunlight to burning light. Actually, we'll do sunlight, bright lights, and then starvation is going to be 2. Starvation is going to be a little bit more of like an issue because the idea of the common fear, like how I want things to go is like you're going to have a set of these stress factors or like things that are going to stress you the fuck out. Where humans just have to deal with the standard ones. You just have to deal with you don't want to starve to death, so you're going to take a little for if you don't eat, you're taking stress damage. Hey, you've run out of fuel, you're going to take pretty much anytime you run out of a resource, you're going to take a little bit of stress damage. You're stressing the fuck out a little bit. This is pretty bad. The issue being that vampires have a lot more things. Depending on that rank is the number of D10s you're going to be rolling to actually say like, hey, losing my mucking marbles here. I don't quite know how I want to do it yet, so I might have to. Thing is, I'm going to probably have to come back to this. So, but vampires during their creation during drifter creation. The vampire may choose to adopt a lineage. Choose to adopt a lineage. This bloodline grants them a consistent talent. If I want to do this right, consistent talent at the end of every stretch of the journey. No, consistent talent at the end of every stretch of the journey. However, they must manage the drawbacks and benefits that come with their unique blood. Actually, we'll do unique mutations. So we're doing this. We're going to do. Jump that a little bit. Are we going to do the Nosferatu? The drifter is going blind, and their body rapidly changing. They at first they will gain a +2. It's a fucking calling. They are favor. Let's see. They will gain +2 favor to. Actually, they will gain a favor to any sense judgment with. Gave it a favor to any sense judgment. With any sense judgment with anything other than sight, but take a malice when speaking. Other than ought to. What would be mm, mm, show me your fucking transformation and your stupid fucking wings, because that's all I wanna see. Give me your fucking wings. Okay, let me wow, thanks Yuri is love, Yuri is life. So yeah, it literally turns into their fucking wings. Okay, that's awful. Royale with cheese. We can probably throw in, yeah, no, okay, we'll do gargoyles first. Gargoyles. Mm. Shite. We're gonna have to break. Using into vampire or as a lineage would be nice. I might literally use vampire as kind of like the generics, being like, yeah, everyone's a vampire technically. At first they will be able to transform, flying. Hmm. I don't know how I want to do this. Yeah. Because the idea is that humans don't get stressed as easy. The problem is humanity is just more fragile. Like, just generally speaking, they're just more fragile. They don't get as much kind of stuff to worry about, while vampires have pretty much, vampires are higher maintenance. That's kind of the big difference there. So if we, I mean, if we do this, if we don't do car yet, but if we instead do maybe this will help if I write this section first. So during their adventure, the drifters will have to manage and treat their stress. We'll have to manage their stress and treat their wounds. Stress is the accumulated fears, anxiety, depression, and negative thoughts that invade the mind, invades the mind of any person. Stress is starts high but is whittled. What is whittled? Whittled away. The waltzing Matilda. It's going to be a D10 dice pool. D10 dice pool with a variable target number depending on the difficulty. The catch being that any penalty you take, or any bonus, is actually directly affecting the difficulty number. So if I say, it's the idea being, say, like, oh, hey, Manly, you have two issues to worry about. Like, you have a 2 penalty, you have a wound, for example. And I say, oh, it's going to be difficulty 7 on this check. You're going to look at your dice like, oh, well, I'm going to be rolling, let's say I'm going to be rolling a ton of D10s. I'm going to be rolling 5 D10s. Cool, 5 D10s with only a difficulty 7, but you have that 2 wounds. You have a 2 penalty. So that difficulty is now 9. And you need to hit a 9, a 9 or a 10 to actually score a success, which usually you only need 1, but you might need 2, you might need even 3, depending on the complexity. So you're gonna roll, and it's like, oh no, I didn't roll. I rolled a single 10, so I got 1 success. The issue being that the more you push, the harder. It's a lot easier to get penalties than it is to get bonuses. This isn't like the most like groundbreaking system in the world, but that's not really the point of it. The complicated aspect of this, Manly, comes in one very important idea, which is that it's going to be a fucking hex crawl. Yeah, it's going to be a hex crawl. That's going to be the hard part, hence Car being one of the 3 genders of human. You have, man, vampire, and Car. Which is, you're trying to get across the wasteland or the ashlands, I should say, in your beat up fucking Soviet shitbox. Have fun, asshole. Yeah, just D10 dice pool. I want to keep things relatively simple. Also, hex crawl in Russia. Post-apocalyptic Russia. Pulls out the comically large hex map. The idea being, actually I'm going to try to account for this, is that you're going to be pretty much splitting things up into legs. So it might be so you might be heading toward, a place that, the GM is like, okay, that's going to be 6 legs of a journey. And it's like, okay, you need to get out and, you have 6 legs. Oh, this will be super easy. We don't have to think about it. Each of those legs is going to be a different hex map that you need to traverse across, that has its own issues, that have its own problems, that are kind of you're going to need to deal with, all while you don't have enough fuel, you don't have enough food, you don't have enough resources to get through. And all while kind of trying to manage... You're trying to manage the issues presented as such. It's like, oh, cool. Like, we do not have the right amount of food. Well, we kind of know that who's in this area. Maybe we can negotiate for some food. But this entire time as well is people are chasing you and they're right on your ass. So you can't really stay very long at any one place. So you're always pushing forward, but the longer you take, it's the longer you take, the more likely people are going to get you, and you're going to have to kind of deal with them, which isn't going to be fun for you or anybody involved. Just accumulate fears, anxiety, depression, negative thoughts that invade the mind of. Just starts highs, but is whittled away by the rigors of the Ashlands. Of the Ashlands, forcing the drifter to spend time recuperating or resting. Stress is not directly injuries. So when there are three main ways of losing. There are three main ways of losing stress. Which is fears. Actually, no, we want to do anxiety. It's going to be anxiety, fears, and what would be we want to do fears, hunger, and anxiety. Fears are the most fears are the most common. During their adventure, they'll have to manage their stress and treat their wounds. Both of them will. Stress will tick down. Stress will tick down with time and recuperation. Time and relaxation. While wounds will require medical assistance. To patch themselves up. But sometimes leave lingering fears. Stress is the accumulated fears, anxiety, whittled away by the rigor. Fears are the most common. Actually, oh fuck. Okay, let's just take a moment here. Let's just take a moment and write out fear and hunger. Think, think, think. Fuck, I already got a fear and hunger game. I need to remake I need to make it for the tournament already. Pretty much how I want this to go. Pretty much stress is fairly consistent. So we're gonna do like humans get. We're gonna say like humans get like let's say everyone gets like 15 out of 15 stress. Actually, no, we get like 100 out of 100 stress. No, that's too much stress. 25. Everyone gets 25 stress. Okay, easy enough to understand. 25 stress, but you can recover stress. That's kind of the big thing. You're recovering stress pretty easily. But the problem is you're losing it. You're losing it a lot quicker. Everyone gets 25 stress. The thing is fears are kind of the ideas are things are happening. Stress should be start slow, gets high, right? You would be correct. However, it's the idea behind stress is that stress, you kind of go until the point where your stress breaks. It's kind of like, hey, I'm not really stressed at all. I'm pretty good. I'm keeping my sanity good. But then it's like you suffer a stress break, and now you're vulnerable. The issue is during combat, when this is most likely to occur, is if your stress breaks during combat or during kind of a conflict scenario, you can actually start getting hurt pretty badly. That's when you actually start getting shot and start taking pretty bad wounds. Humans can't take many wounds. You get shot once as a human, you're dead. I'm kind of saying the idea that you're losing stress. I might change the name of it because I can't think of a better name of calling it, but that's what he wanted to call it. Where it's kind of the idea that, like, you hit a point and you are not in a good place anymore. If you're vulnerable, then you start taking injuries. Then you start losing your marbles. Then bad things start happening. The threat of death is now here. That's the issue with stress. I don't really know how else to kind of put it in here outside, like, yeah, stress is a thing that, like, is whittled down. But I don't really know how to, like, refer to that as. I guess, like, stability? Stability could work. Actually, I have no strong opinion on the name for stress, which is the first to come to mind. Oh goodness, don't throw this at me now. Because the entire concept is, how I see it in my mind anyway, is you're slowly losing stress over the journey. Slowly and steadily losing stress. Things are happening, you're getting confronted by problems, you are starving, you're running out of resources, you are just clearly in bad places. Then something happens, a conflict breaks out. That's when things start going really wrong for you. If you're good with stress, then you're able to manage it a lot better. You're going to be doing better in combat, you're going to be doing better in situations. You're generally going to survive this. You're going to be fine. The problem comes into the fact when you aren't prepared, when you are on barely the verge of keeping your shit together, and then suddenly the bullets start flying and the problems start mounting, and suddenly, oh hey, have no fear, I think we can totally survive this. Get shot with a Dragonov in the fucking throat. Oh fuck, oh damn. That being kind of the idea, like, it's this moment of you are pushing yourself, and then you break. Something happens and you break. Its stability would be a good one. Because inadvertently, stress, or whatever I end up fucking calling it, has become your health in a way. And because stress is your health, it kind of, wounds are your, the kind of thing about wounds, like, wounds are actually, the best way to kind of think about it would be, endurance is your health. With stress is your endurance, your wounds are your health in a way. It's kind of a more simplistic way of wording it. But it's kind of the idea that if your endurance is whittled away, your stress is whittled away, you can get shot and you die. You get shot and you get killed. You're just dead. Sorry, asshole. You're just not having a good time. If anything, I'd probably switch it around and give vampires a decently high, give vampires good wounds but really bad stress management, so they can take a lot of injuries. They just can't. They're not dealing with them. They're going to get hurt more often, effectively. But they also can regenerate, so that comes with their own advantages, I guess. There are 3 main ways of losing stress. Yes, I guess you would call it gaining stress. Thought I had this planned out already. I don't have this planned out. You know what? The late stream. I can't. There's an answer here, and I don't know what. Now I'm fucked up, and now I'm thinking of different things. Because I can see it up here. I can see it in my head. Yeah, now it's just one of those things. Like, I've built this entire thing in my head. Now writing it down, I'm like, this doesn't work the way I saw it in my head. So now I'm thinking, like, what's the fuck? Something is wrong, and I don't know what. Yeah, I'm gonna call it here. I'm not. I can't. Sorry, I'm sorry, everyone. I can see it. I'm the Finno Greg, savior of the Slavic world. Stability? Do you think stability is like... If we go with stability, then I guess we could call something a stressor. Okay, you know what? We do stability, but we keep wounds. We go with stability. Stability is going to be it's going to vampire. Vampires have 20 out of 20 stability. 20 out of 20 stability. Humans have 25 out of 25 stability. They have a little bit higher, but not like a super lot of stability. Wounds, on the other hand, vampire, pretty much you're taking wounds. Anytime you take a wound, anytime your stability, let's say your stability is 0, and you take a wound, and let's say they hit for, normally you would be reduced by 12. What's going to happen there is, like, you're going to say, like, okay, I'm going to take like a negative like 9 wound or something now. Which is, you're fucking crippled. Like, you are doing nothing anymore. You are completely fucked. So even taking like a little bit of damage is kind of harmful. Fuck, I have to rewrite the entirety of wounds, don't I? If we want to write this correctly, if we go on the idea, ability is the mental fortitude of a drifter to repress or manage the anxiety, depression, fears, and terror that invades their mind. Stability will stability starts high, but is whittled away by the rigors of Ashland. Forcing the drifter to spend time relaxing or conversing, or spend time relaxing to recover. So we want to do this There are three main ways of damaging stability of fears are the most common. These are everyday occurrences. Actually, they're stressing. I think stability will work. Because the idea is that there are going to be things that are going to reduce your stability in certain circumstances. The idea being that a fear is pretty much like events that are traumatizing by their, events that are traumatizing by their nature. And this is where, this is where things like the common fears and personal fears begin, crop up. This is the basic ones. Like a common fear, like generally speaking, things like common fears is like nobody wants to get hurt. Like if you get hurt, if you take a wound, if you fuck up a roll and you drop from a building and you fucking land hard on your ass, you're going to take stress damage because you've taken a fucking wound. You are not doing good. You are not happy. You are not good. You are in desperate fear. Like, it's a very common thing. It's things like, oh, my loved ones are in danger. People I care about are in danger. And now I'm like that fear, that mounting fear is, occurring. Or my things are getting stolen. Again, it's very human fears. That would be kind of the idea with this one, is it's like nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to, nobody wants to do certain things. Like, no, and there's going to be terrifying moments. Like, yeah, hey, cool, let's drive through the corpse field. Oh boy, I sure do love driving through the fucking field of corpses. Like, yeah, this is really encouraging. Like, I could feel my morale building by doing this. Just things that you just don't like. This common fears of just horrifying things, supernatural shit. That's kind of the idea, is like fears are just things that just like, I don't like this. This is like, yeah, I'm spooked. Hunger, on the other hand, is ticking problems. Ticking problems are pretty standard stuff. It's like, hey, I haven't eaten in a day. Okay, I'm not going to be recovering any stability anymore. I can't recover stability because I'm fucking hungry. I haven't eaten in 2 days. Okay, now I'm losing stability. I haven't eaten 3 days. Okay, I'm hemorrhaging stability now. Like, I'm just not, like, this is bad. Which goes like double for vampire, which the idea is that it's going double for vampires in some cases, because it's like, oh, I am starving to death. I am losing my marbles. I am not healthy. There's something very wrong going on, and I want to eat my friends. Like, I want to eat my friends. Please send help. The idea of anxiety is a little bit more, I was gonna do that more in like the idea of being in a stressful situation more than anything. It's kind of like the idea of being like, the longer you are in a conflict, the more your stability is dropping. Anxiety is just the fear of being in a situation. You don't really want to be there. It's a slow ticker. It's kind of a mixture between the two, rather than like, this is just fucking scary. Please get a hold of yourself. Or, hey, I just don't want to get shot. And I'm hunkered down and safe, but I just don't want to get shot. Oh no. That was kind of the idea behind there. It's hunger is going to kill you. Fear is going to be the thing that like just chunks your stability though. That's kind of the idea. Fear chunks your stability, hunger whittles away at it, while anxiety is kind of the really rapid like loss by just virtue of being in a situation you don't want to be in. I'm in a gunfight. No one wants to be in a gunfight. You don't want to be in a gunfight. I don't want to be in a gunfight. Nobody does. Like, and that's kind of the idea behind that. But feels like there's something I'm missing. I'm missing something. I don't know what it is. Actually, so let's fears I'm gonna have to think about this. I know what I want to write, but now I'm... Yes, actually. If we change the idea behind them to be fears are resistible moments of terror. Hunger is ticking clocks of doom. Anxiety is personal issues and fear, hunger, anxiety. What would be it? I'll think on this. I don't really know what else to put here. Again, kind of... I didn't get, like, anything done today. But I got some of the lore done, at least. That's a plus, right? Got some of the fucking lore done. Spent way too long talking with people in the server, though. I spent way too fucking long. But... I'm just gonna have to call it here. Sorry, everybody. My goal is I want to get this part done by Friday. That's my goal. I want to get this done by Friday. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and I'm really going to think about it. Just in my head more than anything. Because if I can put together everything in my head, if I can write out how I want this to look, I'll be fine. But I just need to write out how I want everything to look. I don't know how I want things to look yet. Because I thought I knew, but now I don't know. I started doubting myself, and it's 1 o'clock in the fucking morning, and I